Namaste. Sit comfortably with your back straight and erect. And let's begin with Devi Kriya. We'll start with chanting 3 Oms with the clear intention of connecting and invoking our higher self in all the divine energies. Now let's invoke all the divine Mahadevis with the Bij mantra. Om Aim 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 Hrim 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 Shrim 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 Clean 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 Namaha. We'll start with phase 1, energizing our chakras. Visualize that a beautiful beam of golden white light is flowing from above, from your higher self, towards your physical body, entering through your crown chakra, and with each step, entering into all your chakras and energizing them. Step 1, energizing third eye pranayam. Put your 2 fingers in between your eyebrows and start from your left nostril. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Relax. Now move your awareness going down towards your heart chakra. See this light entering and energizing it. Hold the chin mudra and let us begin. Step 2, energizing heart pranayam. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Relax. Now move your awareness going further down towards your navel area, energizing your third and second chakra. Hold the Dhyan Mudra and let's begin step 3, energizing navel pranayam. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Relax. Now move your awareness further down towards your root chakra and see this light entering and energizing it. You can flatten out your thumbs and let's begin with step 4, energizing root pranayam. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in, Hold. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Relax. Now allow all this light flowing through you to make its way further down from your root, traveling all the way down into the center of Mother Earth and blending with the light inside her core. Now let's chant one more Om and move to phase 2, cleansing our chakras. Now see your higher self pouring down beautiful soul feelings of love, joy, peace, harmony, creativity, abundance, all that you need at this moment. And see it all flowing towards you from above, entering you from your crown. And with every step, see it dissolving and brushing away everything that no longer serves you and replacing it with these beautiful soul feelings. We'll start with step 1, cleansing third eye pranayam or nadi shodhan. Relax. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Now let's move to step 2, cleansing heart pranayam or bhastrika. Relax. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Now move your awareness going further down and see these soul feelings entering your third and second chakra. We'll start with step 3, cleansing navel pranayam or Kapalbhati. Now finally, let's move our awareness and see these soul feelings moving into your root chakra. Let's do step 4, cleansing root pranayam or root pastrika. Relax. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Now see all these soul feelings moving further down from your root, making their way all the way into the center, the core of Mother Earth. And see Mother Earth absorbing all of this so joyfully. Now let's chant another Om and move to phase 3, harmonizing our chakras. Now see this portal of light from your higher self further expanding, flooding you, entering you from your crown, and with every breath, see yourself becoming lighter and lighter. We'll start with step 1, rhythmic third eye pranayam. Relax, breathe in, breathe out slowly. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax. Now let's move to step 2, rhythmic heart pranayam. Now move your awareness further, going down towards your navel area, and see all this light in your third and second chakra. Let's start with step 3, rhythmic navel pranayam. Relax, breathe in, breathe out, slowly. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. See all this light entering into your root chakra. We move to step 4, rhythmic root pranayam. Relax, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Slowly. Breathe in, breathe out. Empty, silent. You're in a space of suspended breath, no mind, no breath, and remain in this space for as long as you can. Completely empty and silent. And when you need to take a breath, you can gently do so and see all this light that is flowing to the core of Mother Earth. See Mother Earth fully lit up with your own divine light of your higher self. And now, in this beautiful enlightened space, let us thank all the Mahadevis and the divine energies present, helping, guiding, and protecting us through this Kriya with the heartfelt Devi Mantra. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Now let us chant 3 Oms before we can close. You may rub your palms, cup your eyes, and slowly, in the cup of your palms, you may open your eyes and stay in this divine space for as long as you like. Namaste.
Welcome everybody. In this beautiful state of empty mind, let's dive into the wisdom from 1,000 flowers of love. We will continue with chapter 1. We were almost to the end of it, and we will begin chapter 2 today. I think Vandana ji, she was in Panchgani, Mahabaleshwar, and coming home at 2 in the morning, so I told her to rest. so she may not be with us. So we had a couple of volunteers who wanted to read, and so you can raise your hand if you are ready to read, and we will begin from towards the end of chapter 1. So I think Sonia would like to do it. Thank you, Sonia ji.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Namaste.
morning. So, do you remember where we left off, or I can tell you?
Yes, sir. I guess it was page 10 on
Oh,
how and like how 11th will be starting with.
yes, yes, that is exactly right. So, you can just speak. Um, I think we can hear you. Yes. And so you can first, yeah, say the question and then the answer. And then I will stop you somewhere where I think we need to dive into the wisdom. That's how we'll do it.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Question how? A little bit above that, shall I start reading? Yes, there is something more to unifying perception. With
We already covered that, right?
yes, sir. Yes. How? Question is how. Answer.
Yeah.
As a child grows into puberty, the mind begins to dominate more and more. Emotions become intense, and the ego starts to crystallize. But instead of helping the child dissolve these emotions or surrender the ego gently, society and peer groups, and often even well meaning parents, create the opposite environment. Their own plain fears and unexamined beliefs fill the space. Children absorb these patterns, and slowly perception becomes layered with judgments, expectations, and self image. The mind grows restless, constantly thinking. The emotions get entangled with the ego, and soon, the child who once saw sunlight dancing on a leaf or heard silence inside a temple bell no longer perceives the whole world in wholeness. The same summer mountains, the same city lights, the same sunsets on the beach are now seen not through presence, but through layers of overthinking and emotional noise. That is how the fall happens. Not suddenly, but moment by moment, day by day, as perception narrows. I'm assuming there cannot be any judgment in pure perception. Yes, there is no judgment. However, when a spiritual master says to have no judgments, they tell you about the goal without showing you the path. Going directly beyond all judgment from a mind filled with judgments is not possible. The path is to first transform your divisive judgments into unifying judgments by surrendering your mind into your body and soul with breath. Similarly, it is not possible to go from a mind stuck in divisive beliefs to a mind emptied of all beliefs. The path goes through unifying beliefs before arriving at a mind freed from all beliefs. This is true of all thought aggregates. The journey to dissolution of all thought aggregates goes through unifying thought aggregates such as unifying perceptives, unifying identities, and so on. I see. What would be an example of a unifying judgment? All humans are created equal. What would be an example of a divisive judgment? Humans are superior to animals. True. Many humans carry these judgments at least unconsciously, if not very consciously. Are either of the above judgments true? Know that both judgments are false. Just like no two grass blades can be equal, no two humans can be 100% equal in all respects. Also, it is not possible for humans to be superior to animals in all aspects of their lives. Humans cannot swim like the salmon thousands of miles against the currents in only a few months in order to reproduce. I guess we covered it
So
last
let
in
me
the class
stop
class.
you. So this is actually where we had ended. I think we
Yes,
began too much earlier. We had covered all of this in the last reading,
yes,
as I remember Salmon's. So I think you were supposed to read after this, which is, so why do humans carry these judgments? This is where we will start today. So you can read this part now, but that was a good review.
okay, so thank you. So, why do humans carry these judgments if they are all false? Divisive judgments arise as a basic evolutionary response for ensuring survival in nature and in animal kingdom. These judgments also result from emotions tied to one's ego, which is just a more complex evolutionary response for survival by humans. So, fear, anger, hate, greed, jealousy, etc., are all part of the egoic human judgments. Unifying judgments arise from a deep surrender to the body and are rooted in soul feelings such as joy, love, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, and others. These judgments dissolve the ego and allow the body to unite with the soul. So, are unifying judgments any truer than divisive judgments? No. Even though all judgments are equally false, a unifying mind filled with unifying judgments allows it to become totally empty of all judgments one day, while a divisive mind consisting of divisive judgments regresses into a scattered mind burdened with emotions and egoic delusions.
Okay, let me stop you here.
Yes.
So this is a beautiful paragraph which follows what we had covered last time. The chapter is on unifying mind. There are seven thought aggregates: perceptions, beliefs, judgments, expectations, intentions, perspectives, identities, which are there in the first book by Saraswati Ma. And excuse me, and these thought aggregates create our mind. We're continuously judging, believing, we have perspectives, we have expectations, we have roles as our identities, and the whole thing just goes on. The wisdom in the first book was how to live beyond this mind. Because if you struggle just in the mind, you just stay at the surface. You're not able to go into your body, into your breath. You can't feel your soul. You can't enter into the emptiness that we are talking about. So the goal is to get beyond this mind, to get into the body, into the soul, into the higher self, more empty, feeling those amazing sensations of the childhood, feeling those amazing moments that we have known as a soul. And how do we get to that state? So that state is beyond the mind. All the masters say it's beyond the mind. But the question is, how do we get beyond the mind? And this is where this beautiful wisdom is coming, that it begins by unifying the mind. Unify the mind with the body, soul, and the higher self, and unify the thought aggregates. What does that mean? So, we talked last time about unifying judgments, and now we are moving towards how we can unify at a deeper level. How can we do that? So, the question then is, if all judgments, including the judgment that all humans are created equal, and also the judgment that humans think they are superior to animals, the first one is unifying. It produces love. All humans are created equal, makes us feel good. It's a loving judgment. The second judgment, we are superior to animals. It creates separation. So, first is unifying, second is divisive. Parvati Ma is saying that both are false. So, if both are false, then my question is, why do we carry these judgments if they're all false? And her answer was, false does not mean that it's not useful. Newtonian physics is false, but it is useful. Most of the world still runs on Newtonian physics, not Einstein's laws. We use it every day. False can be useful. A diamond can cut another diamond. So, unifying judgments are very useful. They create harmony, they join us with the body, soul, and so on, even if they are false. Entire mind is false. Once you become the higher self, you see it all as an illusion. So, obviously, all humans cannot be created equal. They are born with different weight. That's, if you take it to the extreme, that's not true. But it will still create peace, love, harmony, these qualities in you if you believe all of you are created equal. So, why do humans carry these judgments if they're all false? So, now Parvati Ma is saying that divisive judgments, the ones that separate us from one another, that we are better than others, or we judge others for their whatever, their upbringing or their uh, you know beliefs, their identities. We carry many judgments, and these are divisive judgments. All of racism, all of sexism, all of this comes from divisive judgments. And why do they arise? So, divisive judgments arise as as an evolutionary response for ensuring survival in nature. So, when you are, surviving, you are fighting, it's survival of the fittest, then the mind will go into emotions of violence, of anger, of hate, and these emotions will lead to divisive judgments. In humans, they get tied to one's ego. That's a more complex evolutionary response by humans. So all of these emotions, they feed into the ego, and ego feeds back into the emotions. It's a vicious cycle, one feeding the other. And then you are filled with divisive judgments. And once you go into that journey of divisive judgments, there's no end to it. From morning to night, you can keep judging, you can keep watching your favorite television shows, which basically say the same things that you believe, filled with divisive judgments, and that becomes your life. Unifying judgments, they begin to arise as you go through your dark night of the soul, you get some humility, you start surrendering to the body, you start opening up to the feelings of the soul, such as love, compassion, the inner joy, primordial joy. You start having gratitude, forgiveness. Once all of this starts happening, your judgments also become unifying. Then you start saying things like, all humans are created equal, all souls deserve to go back to the heavens. Everybody is suffering. Everyone wants to end their suffering. And you start working for enlightenment of everybody. So, this is what happens when you go into unifying judgments. Are unifying judgments any truer than divisive judgments? If you talk about truth and false, then no, they're not any more true, but they are much more useful. So if somebody is wondering here, why should I believe all religions preach peace, that all religions are rooted in compassion, when I know that's not true? The reason you need to believe in that is because every thought has a vibration, and a unifying thought will create more love and harmony in the world. It'll change the energy of the world. And a divisive thought, a divisive judgment, will create the opposite. Both of them are false. The question is what kind of energy you want to create in the world. So, a unifying mind filled with unifying judgments, that is the path which will one day allow it to become totally empty of all judgments. We know the goal. We began with the goal, we want to go to the no mind. The no mind has no judgments, no beliefs, no perspectives, no identities. But to reach that goal, you cannot go through divisiveness. You have to go through a unifying mind. A divisive mind will just regress into a scattered mind, burdened with emotions, egoic delusions, and your whole life, right till the end, you will stay in that, and you will not have easy passing from this world, because you will be in your emotions, in your ego. If you've surrendered to unifying judgments, the moment that you leave this earth would be something of a surrender to the divine, and that will ensure that you have a great karmic release. And that moment is very important. So it's important to develop a unifying mind with unifying judgments. That is what we're saying. Okay, now let's continue.
Ism. Aha. So, even though unifying judgments are also ultimately false, they are helpful. Yes. As you keep unifying the judgments more and more, one day even they will drop on their own. For example, take it to your heart that all humans are created equal until your love for every human being becomes so powerful that even judgment falls away. You become unconditional love, capable of accepting every human being, just as they are beyond their superficial differences.
So see
Oh,
how beautiful this is. Uh, there's a unifying judgment that all humans are created equal. What does that do? It produces love for every human being because you start seeing them as all equal. Now imagine that love, which is the soul feeling, becoming more and more powerful. As it becomes more and more powerful, this judgment will also fall away because you'll start seeing that some humans are more poor, some humans have more diseases, some humans were not created equal. Their genetic was filled with diseases, so they got more diseases. But that doesn't matter. The love is so powerful that you start accepting every human as they are beyond the superficial differences. So, even getting a disease, not getting a disease, being born this way, that way, being rich, being poor, does not matter. Your love becomes so deep that you treat all of them equal, and they all are coming from that same source. The souls are all equal. That is what you start seeing. The more empty you become, the more you see that equality comes from the invisible, the souls that we are. We all came from that infinity, and this is just slight superficial differences. Just like somebody wears a particular garment and you wear another garment, you have different clothing, different colors. That doesn't make you different. That is just outer clothing. So even the body, the career, and all of this is just the outer. The inner is the soul. And you start seeing beyond these outer differences because the love is so powerful. And like Mother Teresa, like even Gandhi, all of these people who could accept everybody. How could they do that? Because they didn't see the outer, the superficial differences. So, unifying judgments is the way to create love, and the more love you create, the more you'll be able to see beyond these differences because love will shine and show you the invisible, the souls. Okay, go on.
Oh, I see. So even though unifying judgments are also ultimately false, they allow us to progress towards an empty, luminous mind, right? Yes. This is very insightful. So, this must be true about other thought aggregates also. Unifying beliefs must lead to no beliefs. Unifying perspectives must lead to no perspectives. Unifying identities must lead to no identities, and so on. On the other hand, divisive beliefs, divisive perspectives, divisive identities, etc., must make us fall into a divisive consciousness filled with emotions and egoic responses. Exactly. This is really interesting. Okay, what would be an example of a unifying belief? All religions are rooted in love and compassion for all humans. What would be an example of a divisive belief? The religion that I practice is the true religion, and all other religions are false. I see. So, while neither belief may be absolutely true, the unifying belief may drop itself one day to arrive at no belief. But the divisive belief will get us more into our emotions and ego. Indeed, know that. The entire mind is an illusion. Unifying thought aggregates are simply a more skillful method of engaging with the mind to undo its divisive and addictive grip on you. It is a way of engaging with thought aggregates so that they dissolve naturally. This ends the chapter.
Okay, thank you for reading that. So we went from judgments to beliefs. Beliefs are these very strong impressions that are created from our childhood with our conditioning. We start seeing similarity in our worldview, and that creates beliefs because the same parents, same teachers, same society, same friends, they start reinforcing the same ideas and they become beliefs. And those beliefs will be different in different countries. In India, you will grow up with certain set of beliefs. In Pakistan, you'll grow up with another set of beliefs because everybody around you is reinforcing them. So here also same principle applies. You must, you should choose unifying over divisive. All religions are rooted in love and compassion for all humans. That's a unifying belief. A divisive belief is my religion is superior to other religions. So, in every aspect, every thought aggregate, if you can surrender to the unifying aggregates, knowing fully well that doesn't mean that it's true. Truth is not just black and white. It's not true that there is any religion where no violence has ever happened. Not just in some religions, in every religion, there has been some instance of violence. So you cannot say, forget all religions, you cannot say any religion is totally peaceful. There's a story even of Jainism that I'd read a while back in one of the Osho books. There were two sects of Jainas, Shwetambar and Digambar, and there was a place where there was they were building a temple, and in one religion they would show the eyes closed in one sect, and in the other they would show the eyes open. They are Jains. They practice non-violence. But the issue became so big that they almost came to fight against each other violently on deciding whether the eyes of Mahavira should be closed or open. So, this is even in Jainism, there are instances where there can be violence. Doesn't mean Jainism practices violence. So we have to, as humans, evolve. And evolution means not sticking to divisiveness, divisive beliefs, divisive judgments between religions, between races, between social, you know, conditioning of, you know, social status, economic status, and we all carry some of these judgments. If you look deep within, we have something or the other going on, and a spiritual mind is beyond such judgments. For the Dalai Lama, it does not matter whether you are a billionaire or whether you are a very, very poor person. Both are equal because he is seeing your soul. And that is a sign of a spiritual mind that goes beyond these judgments. So, this will help you how the goal is no mind, the ability to meditate while thoughts are not scattering all over the place. Many people cannot meditate. So the advice to them is join with the body. How do you join with the body? Through breath. Again, the unifying mind principle is at play. You see that? If you just sit down, not focus on your breath, no, don't focus on your breath, simply watch your mind. Nobody told you about becoming aware of the body, the sounds, the breath, and you're just looking at your mind. What will happen? If you're used to thinking too much, you will just become aware of this constant streaming of thoughts. Many of them are divisive. After 5 minutes, you'll be like, this is hopeless. I cannot meditate. You will try again after 5-10 minutes, you will say, this is hopeless. Every time you will say this and you'll give up on meditation. Nobody told you about a unifying mind. All you had to do was to unify the mind with the body. How do you do that? With breathing. Start taking some breath, do some pranayama, forget about the mind. Just focus on the breath. As you do that, the mind becomes more unifying. Unify with the soul. Love, compassion, all these soul feelings. So, the path can help you eventually unify the mind so much that you go towards the no mind. Now, let's begin chapter 2. So, we've been through perceptions, judgments, beliefs. Those were covered in chapter 1. Now, chapter 2 is unifying perspectives, expectations, and intentions. And Parvati Ma spends a lot of time on perspectives, which we will see. Okay, go on. Yeah.
Chapter 2: Unifying Perspectives, Expectations, and Intentions. This is profound wisdom. But what if a unifying belief does not feel true at all? If it does not feel true, then by definition the belief is not unifying for you. Each individual must look into their subjective beliefs with an open mind and see why a belief feels unifying or divisive. Consider a scientist who carries a bias against all forms of spirituality. Such a person may point to the benefits of science and reject spirituality by equating it with blind faith or religious fundamentalism. Also, consider a spiritualist who is critical of the excessive materialism caused by the progress of science. The spiritualist may have found love and harmony through the unifying beliefs of their spiritual path. Both the scientist and the spiritualist carry divisive beliefs consistent with who they are. To the spiritualist, the scientist's belief in science may seem false, considering all of the harm to the earth from excessive industrialization, global warming, and the threat of nuclear war. To the scientist, the spiritualist's belief in spirituality may seem false considering all of the religious fundamentalism and wars throughout human history. Can these two individuals broaden their perspectives beyond their narrow beliefs and come to a deeper understanding that unifies both science and spirituality?
Okay, so let's stop here. So, this is a really wonderful conversation happening, which is at the heart of humanity, if you think about it. Humanity is divided. One of the we're talking about divisive perspectives now, and scientists, doctors tend to carry a particular kind of perspective, and spiritualists and holistic healers, they carry another kind of perspectives, and all of you are aware of that. And typically, a very scientific secular person will reject religion, but the reason for their rejection often is why? Because they see all this fundamentalism, they see all this religious wars in human history. They'll instantly point out to you religion has killed more people in the world than anything else. So, how can it be the force of good? And they are right. Similarly to the spiritualist who are they're not against science, but they don't see much value. Some of them don't see much value in science because they go, because of this scientific development, we have the earth at the brink of disaster. We have hydrogen bombs and so many of them that can completely annihilate the earth. We have excessive materialism, so much carbon in the environment that the ocean waters will rise and we might not have enough land to live on earth. So the spiritualist, the environmentalist sometimes will look at all of this science and they will create a belief that something is wrong about science, that one has to just live in a more simple way. Both of them are using divisive perspectives. Both of them. Because science by itself is not about excessive materialism. Science by itself is not about creating hydrogen bombs. That's not what science is. A knife can be used to cook, and a knife can be used to kill. You cannot blame the knife. So, science by itself is not of any of that. Similarly, religion is having faith. Religious faith doesn't have to be about killing people of other religions, even though in the past people have fought, people of different religions have fought. But that's not what religion is about. Religion is about what? So, this is where these two kinds of people who might have divisive perspectives, how can they come together? And so read the next question and answer, that will show you how they can come together. How can they drop their divisive perspectives which are not true and adopt the more true unifying perspective, even though all perspectives in the end are false. Okay, go on.
Okay. So perhaps a unifying perspective that joins spiritual insights with scientific progress. Exactly. To come to this place, both individuals can question their divisive beliefs about science and spirituality with creative, divisive perspectives about reality. They can ask, is it science or the capitalist greed uh, exploit science which is at the root of Earth's destruction? Is it spirituality or the politicians' greed to exploit religion, which is at the heart of fundamentalism?
So let's
Science,
stop here because there's very two deep statements about the state of the earth and its history. So it's not science, but it is the capitalist greed, the big bad pharma, you know, the companies, the food companies, the pharmaceuticals who want to exploit, they want to make profits over people. So it's a capitalist greed, which is giving a bad name to science. On the other side, it's the politician. All of the religions of the world that have led to war, that's not because of the religion, it's because of the kings and the heads of the states that have used religion. Look at every religious war. So, on one side, the capitalist is totally uh, making science into a destructive endeavor. On the other side is a politician that is destroying religion. If you remove the capitalist and if you remove the politician, what will remain? And that comes next. Keep reading.
Science investigates that which can be analyzed using the senses and the mind. And spirituality explores that which is beyond the senses and mind. Once a more unifying perspective is adopted, then the emotional attachment to the divisive perspectives ends, which allows one to see greater transcendental truths. The wisdom that I offer to you is that one cannot realize the empty, blissful nature of mind going directly from a divisive mind. One has to surrender to one's body, breath, and soul feelings, which first generate a unifying mind with unifying beliefs and perspectives. It is this unifying mind that eventually transforms into an empty mind.
So think what is being said. You first go through the unifying mind, and that will eventually allow you to meditate more, go deeper, more unifying, and eventually you come up with the luminous empty mind, the meditative mind that we all want, freed of all thoughts, beliefs, everything. So that's very, very beautiful. And before that, look at the unifying perspective of science and spirituality both. What is science? That which can be investigated by senses and the mind. That is science. What is spirituality? That which needs to be investigated, which is beyond the senses and the mind. There are invisible truths which are of beyond mind, beyond senses, the emptiness, fullness that we talk about. So, if we recognize the different areas they deal with, then there's no conflict. Let the spiritualist investigate that which is beyond the mind, beyond the senses. Let the scientist investigate that is for the mind, for the senses. They're just different spheres and they're complementary. Investigating one properly can help you with the other. But look at the world, how people are divided. And Parvati Ma says, this is another thought aggregate, which is perspectives. Even perspectives have to become more unifying. We live in one humanity. The people who went to space initially, humans, the first humans who saw Earth from space, it looks very, very beautiful. It looks like this blue and white planet from space. And they literally, their hearts opened, they literally saw this is one Earth, there's one humanity. And from that perspective, you just can't imagine the kind of world we live in today with so much fighting, so much war. With just this one, we only have one planet. And this is where we have to evolve our perspective. We have to see ourselves as human. Not so much as Hindu, Christian, all that. We are humans, and even more than that, we are living beings, even animals, and that is how we create more and more of a unifying perspective. All of this may sound a bit too philosophical. Why are we talking about all this? But it matters because after this session ends, you will go back to your world, and in your world, there will be arguments. There will be arguments about, you know, these different beliefs, different judgments, different perspectives. A lot of marriages, there are problems because the husband and wife, they just have different worldviews, different perspectives. How they see things are completely different. And so we have to start looking at our own self and see where can we start dropping beliefs, judgments, perspectives which are dividing us, which are based on emotional attachments, and where can we start unifying based on soul feelings. So this is why it's important. Okay, go on.
What happens if we hold on to a divisive mind instead? Suppose you hold a divisive perspective, for example, that a certain religion is rooted in violence. If you obsess about this perspective without surrendering to your heart and soul feelings, you will not be mindful to what is occurring presently and project humanity's past into the current reality. As you inject fear, anger, and hatred towards others, these energies begin to manifest in the world, creating even more division. So and
Think
observe.
about think about this, how there's so much talk about religious division these days in many countries, just not in India. And how does that happen? Does that happen because we just choose to think more about the religious division? The more we think about that, the more we say that this religion is this and this religion is that, and keep dividing. The more we say that, our very thoughts produce the division that feeds into the same story, and that division keeps spreading more and more and more. So it's our responsibility to not give in to this kind of thinking. Whenever we see thoughts or judgments on television everywhere which are just dividing two religions, stop that. Don't watch that type of stuff because you want to create more togetherness. And by just creating one religion superior over another religion and talking more and more about that, that is the poison that'll just create more separation, more separation. Again, we're not saying what is true, what is false. It might be very true that somebody may believe that this religion has violence. It may be very true. We're not talking about what's true and what is false. What we are talking about is what is useful and what is useless or what is destructive. What is useful is to create unifying perspectives. That will change your life. That is what is being shared. Yeah, go on.
Ah, so as observers, we are not neutral. Our beliefs affect the world around us. Exactly. You create our world with every thought you think. So choose your thoughts wisely. Okay, I'm loving this exchange, so please let me engage a little more on this topic. What would be another example of a unifying perspective. Do you recall many years ago, Lakshmi asked you to see her in every woman you know? Yes, as I saw Lakshmi in every woman, a new dimension opened up in my relationship with each one of them. I realized that I was co creating my reality in more significant ways than I ever thought was possible. Eventually, did you not begin to see Lakshmi in all humans of all genders? Yes, this began with my father as the first male in whom I saw Lakshmi after his death. I was completely blown away by the fact that seeing Lakshmi in him completely changed how I saw him. My respect for him changed into a devotional love. After that experience, seeing Lakshmi in all humans made planet Earth such a sweet and gentle place for me.
So let's stop here. So this is a very personal experience because Goddess Lakshmi was the first goddess that came into my life in 2007. And at some point in 2009, this is what she said. uh, when I would have, let's say, some issue with some discussions or arguments, she said one day, "See me in every woman." And initially, when I heard that, I was like, that's wow. But then I surrendered to that wisdom. See Lakshmi in every woman. And as I did that, life literally changed in some significant ways of how I would see the world. Because when you see divine in every person, it began with every woman, but then with my father, it became all genders, all of humanity. If you can see divine, truly see the divine beyond their temporary dramas, their issues. They may have lied to you, cheated you, but see beyond that. That's just a limited mind. Look at their souls, and you see Lakshmi there in every woman. And it becomes a very sweet relationship, a divine relationship with all women and then all humans. We say, even, Patriji used to say, "You're all gods and goddesses." Do we really see that? Go deep into this, because we all came as divine beings. We just chose to fall. Can you see those luminous souls filled with beauty and love who've just chosen to hide themselves as they're playing out this karma? This is the essence of Devi Circle movement. Why Devi Circle? Because when the women get into a circle, the first thing is to recognize the Devi in every woman. Same for Deva circles, recognize the Deva in every man. And so what does this do? This changes one's perspective. Instead of some humans are good, some humans are bad, some humans lie, some humans cheat, some humans are pure, some are with integrity, some are without integrity, all of those thoughts. Instead of that, everyone is Lakshmi, every woman. You start seeing beyond the mind. You start connecting with the soul, the deeper truth. But the effect of that is that every person who begins to see the world this way is changing the world. Every thought you think changes the world. So if you think you can see Goddess Lakshmi or another goddess in every human being, that itself will change reality. Actual reality will shift and the world will become a sweeter place. Okay, go on.
It has created a unifying perspective about humanity in your heart. This can be accomplished with the assistance of any divine being to whom one can surrender. For example, Saraswati, Ma Mary, Shiva, or Buddha. Whenever you acknowledge a divine being within someone, you are infusing divine light into planet Earth and the entire universe. Really, it is helping in the manifestation of heaven on earth. I see. What are some other examples of unifying perspectives? Okay, let us think of one more example. Most of us have heard about the Four Noble Truths taught by Buddha, the enlightened one. But very few have the ability to understand these from the unifying perspective. The first noble truth is about seeing the truth of suffering in all of samsara. But when you are contemplating this truth, do you see suffering in all of samsara?
So
Do
let me
you
stop you here because we'll be soon out of time. We're beyond sevens and we're starting a new topic. The question is, Buddha said suffering is everywhere. The first truth, the noble truth was there is suffering. And he would say suffering is in all six realms of existence. In Buddhism, there are six realms of existence: gods, semi-gods, humans, animals, hells, and hungry ghost realm. All of these realms have suffering. Even God realm has suffering. And this was a bit of a kind of a, if you really go deep in it, it's a bit of a shock to the system that the entire universe, everything that we know, hell, heaven, everything, has suffering. But it goes to the truth of unifying perspective. So today we won't have the time, this will take some time to go deep into this wisdom, but we are coming to the most profound part of unifying perspective. If you deeply understand this, it will really change your life. Deeply, deeply understand this because this will go very, it'll almost seem not true what we're saying, but you go very deep to recognize suffering in almost everything. And in that recognition, suffering begins to melt. You cannot say suffering is only here and not there. Suffering is in every person, from the most rich to the most famous to the most poor. Everywhere there is suffering. And we will dive deep into this. It'll go into hells and heavens and all the different realms. And we're basically going on the same path, unifying our perspective now about suffering. Even though Buddha said this, very few people are able to unify this perspective. They see suffering only in some places and not in others. But Buddha is saying suffering is everywhere. Once you see this truth, that's when suffering starts melting. That will be what we will come to. So we will continue this next Sunday. So let's thank Parvati Ma and Adi Shakti. Let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. Thank the goddesses for this beautiful divine wisdom, even though it's a bit dense in the first few chapters. The book really becomes about her stories later, but even though this is a bit dense, we surrender to this wisdom, Parvati Ma, Adi Shakti Ma, as this will open up beautiful ways of looking at the world. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Sonia, for reading. And so,
Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
yes, most welcome. Very sweet voice. Thank you very much.
Thank
And we will see you next week. Okay. Thank you all. Any questions? If there is anybody with anything,
Sir, I would like to add something. While you were explaining that television, all that we see around us, even television, everything is heavily loaded with judgments, divisive judgments. It was
yes,
so scary for a moment. I was terribly scared. Like, you cannot dodge it. Everyone is operating, it's a pivotal point.
yes, yes, and the more you, that is why spiritual gurus, leaders will say, why do you have to watch so much TV? Or why do you have to surf so much on the net? Pick up a good book, read that. Nowadays, we have even artificial intelligence. You want to ask a good question, go to ChatGPT. It'll give you a better answer than any television shows. Seriously. So, most of the TV and most of this Insta and most of the stuff that we consume, it's all divisive because they're all trying to get attention. The television station is not interested so much in creating a divisive world. They're more interested in making money. When you talk about unifying things, nobody watches your television. When you talk about divisive things, oh, this happened and that happened, and these are bad people and these are good people, then a lot of people want to watch because it reconfirms their divisive beliefs. So it's the population, it's not the television station. It is what we want to consume. We want, we're addicted to divisive beliefs. Some people feel good when they see other people are shown as bad because they are not bad, they are the good people. And that is addicting. So it's everywhere because you spend your time in that realm. Stop watching TV. Stop going so much on Insta. Start, I would encourage many of you to talk to AI. It's really good actually. Talk to Anthropic, talk to ChatGPT about your problems. These companies, some of them are doing a good job. They are putting safety first, they are putting humanity first, and you can have a conversation like with a friend, and it'll give you much. There are ways of doing this. Read a good book. There's so many good books. Just consume some news, but just don't watch TV for that. You can get news from other sources which are better, which are more fair. So it's everywhere, Sonia, because if you get into the world, you will see it everywhere. If you live in a meditative way without television, without social media, with just some right sources of news and just very limited, and spend your time in meditation and in good friendships and celebration and Devi circles and meditation and dancing and all of that, then you've created a different world. It depends what world you want to live in. Okay. Okay. Harish had a question. Is that good? Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you
Yeah.
for, I mean, I never thought I will speak with you directly. So it's feel like a blessing, sir. Sir, actually, I have a one question about the judgment. Sir, for example, I don't know whether it's a correct example or not. For example, one HR, they're hiring two people, but they have only one position. But finally, we are selecting only one candidate, right? So that time the judgment is playing the major role, right, sir? So how we can consider as a good judgment or bad judgment, sir? I mean, I just want to understand it
So you're
because
selecting one candidate out of two for a job.
exactly, sir. So if a HR, right? If because they have one position, but they're
Yeah.
interviewing two people,
Yeah.
here like judgment is coming playing major role, right? If I'm wrong, please correct me, sir.
Of
So how
course,
we can?
as I said, you have to use judgments, but
Mm,
you have to make them unifying judgments. So when
okay.
some of those spiritual masters say, have no judgments, have no beliefs, they're talking about an enlightened state. You
Okay.
cannot jump to that state. You cannot jump and become nirvana completely and living in no judgments. That's not
Mm,
possible.
yes, sir.
Parvati Ma is showing a way that the way goes from divisive to unifying. So if you have two candidates, start using unifying judgments, which would be what? Evaluate them on something that is more unifying.
Okay.
There could be
Okay.
things about them. One particular person dresses in a certain way,
Mm,
okay? And you may say, I don't like the way this person dresses. Now, that's
mm.
a divisive judgment.
Correct.
Does it
Yes.
matter so much how they dresses? What
Mm,
matters is who they are as a character.
yes.
Are they loving people? Are they people with integrity?
Mm,
Use that as a judgment.
correct. I
And
understand, sir.
that would be more unifying, because if you can get a more loving, honest person with integrity,
Mm,
and maybe they don't dress as well, you can tell them, maybe you can, you can advise them, but don't judge by the superficial, by the divisive. Judge by what is more unifying.
oh, I understand, sir.
See
Yes.
what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the
Okay.
clarifications. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
much.
most welcome. Any other questions? Okay, great. I enjoyed, you hope you hopefully enjoyed this session. I certainly did. Thank you all. Thank you, Parvati Ma, Adi Shakti Ma, and let's close the session now. We'll see you next week.